Hi, I'm Kari. This channel is for middle-aged women interested in related topics and who want to live their best midlives. In this video, I'm going to be talking about 5 of the biggest things that I came to realize in my 40s that I was completely oblivious to in my 20s. The first, learn from your mistakes, isn't just a cute saying. It's a valuable piece of advice. I find it much easier now to own my mistakes, fix them in most cases, and use them as learning tools to guide me in a better direction in the future. I have a much easier time deciphering why my judgment was faulty in the first place and how I can intentionally shift my behavior to produce a more productive and successful result in the future. I didn't do much learning from my mistakes when I was in my 20s. In fact, I didn't take the time to consider much of anything. If it sounded like a good plan, I went for it, and it often came back to bite me right in the rear. Did I ever stop to consider any of my dumb decisions in my 20s so that I didn't repeat them? Nope. I just blindly forged ahead until my next impulsive decision came back and kicked me in the butt. Looking back, I was not the least bit insightful in my 20s, and it often made my life a lot harder than it had to be. I'm so much more insightful now. I can actually sit down and analyze why I actually chose to do the things that I did and why those things produced the results that they did. This allows me to use my mistakes as stepping stones to future successes, rather than constantly taking kicks in the butt. The second insight that came to me in my 40s, comparison is the thief of happiness. And man, I wish I would have been wiser to that particular gold nugget in my 20s because I wasted so much time and energy trying to be like everyone else. I thought it was so important to live my life the way everyone else was living theirs. And I compared myself constantly to everyone else and aspired to be a similar parent, friend, neighbor. I did similar things on the weekends, and I worked extremely hard to amass similar possessions. Fitting in meant being alike, and that was everything to me. I have to shake my head now at what I thought was high priority back then. I was so dumb and naive. I realize now that comparing myself to everyone around me is simply an exercise in futility. I can't possibly keep up with every single person I come in contact with. And quite frankly, why would I even want to? There's always going to be someone smarter, prettier, more successful, or more popular than me, and I'm okay with that. I know now that everyone has something to offer the world, and their greatness is in their uniqueness. Being the same is boring and a lot of work. I fully intend to continue being who I am and nothing more, and I'm content to attract my tribe. The people who appreciate my individuality and like me for who I am, whether that's 50 people or one person. In my 40s, I also learned the difference between a true friend and an acquaintance, and I value my friendships much differently now. In my 20s, it was all about the gang, the group of us that always had loads and loads of fun together. It made me feel accepted and valued to have many friends. But what I didn't realize back then was a lot of those people that I considered to be friends were just mere acquaintances. Because when life happened, as it often does, and I needed those friends to be in my life in a capacity that wasn't fun, when I needed advice, support, help, only one of those friends showed up. That same one person was consistently around every time I needed a true friend. The others just offered excuses or disappeared entirely. That one friend has been in my life for 34 years. We lost track once or twice over those 34 years, but we always found our way back to each other. That is a true friend, and that is the type of friendship that I value now in my 40s. A friend should add to your life and you to theirs. They should accept you as you are and care about your happiness and well-being. They should be there for you in tough times and happy times, and you should reciprocate in kind. It's a mutual respect. I honestly don't see the value in keeping fleeting friends in my life anymore. If they only see me as a source of entertainment and they don't want to be a part of my life in any other capacity, then they're acquaintances. And I simply don't spend much time nourishing those types of relationships anymore. The next insight that hit me in midlife is that it's not at all selfish to consider myself occasionally. I spent my entire 20s and early 30s throwing everything I had into my children and my work. But that's just how it is when you have a family, right? You work to pay the bills and you spend whatever time you have left making sure your children and your house are taken care of. I never, ever would have taken time or money from my children to do something for myself. My kids always came first. Hindsight is 20/20, but looking back, I had it so backwards. I spent so much of my time taking care of everyone and everything else and putting so little energy into myself that I was only giving them half of me. My kids only had half a mother. How could I possibly be whole, exhausted, stressed, worn out, and stretched too thin? I realize now that it would not have been selfish at all for me to have considered myself from time to time, so I could have offered more of myself to my family. I now see the balance between considering others and considering myself. There are times when others must come first, but there are also times when it's important for me to step back and take a little bit of time to practice some self-care for my own health and well-being. I see the value now in saying no, taking breaks, being completely open and honest about how I'm feeling, and enjoying small moments of solitude when I think I need them. And I don't feel guilty about that anymore. Now that I'm in my 40s, I've also come to realize that a happy body equals a happy life. My body is truly a temple, and my health is everything. Being healthy and strong is essential to living a happy life. But when I was in my 20s, I was far too busy living my life to waste my time considering my health. I didn't give things like diet, sleep, exercise, and mental health any thought at all. I pretty much ate whatever I wanted to. I slept when I had the time. I stressed out way too much over silly and dumb things. And my exercise pretty much consisted of chasing after my children at home and other people's children at work. Boy, did that all come back to bite me in the butt, because I entered my 40s diabetic, 20 pounds overweight, and most definitely not as fit as I would like to be. I also have fibromyalgia, and I realize now in my 40s that good health is the biggest of all blessings. And I really truly believe that my life will be happier if I feel healthy and strong. So it's paramount for me now to take control of my health and honor my body. Once I entered my 40s, I completely overhauled my diet. I also focus a lot more on relaxation and stress relief. And I'm seriously considering increasing my exercise and activity so that I can tone back up and take off that extra 20 pounds. I often wonder what my life would look like today had I respected my body and considered my health in my 20s. It's never too late though, right? No better time than the present. It's really a pity that we can't go back in time and give our 25-year-old selves the insight that we've gained in middle age. It likely would have saved me a lot of heartache, headaches, and wasted time. What insight do you have in middle age that you either didn't know about or didn't understand when you were younger? Let me know in the comments. I'd really love to hear about them. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you're interested in seeing more of my content and you'd like to be notified when I release new videos, subscribe and click the bell. Live your best midlives, everyone, and thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.